So now I'm going to be integrating flexion and extension of the elbow into some larger movements using more of my upper body and my spine, my rib cage. I'm going to let my head and neck move as it wants to support the movement. And I just picked out some different ways to embed flexion and extension into larger movements to give you an idea of just how many times we flex and extend our elbow in all kinds of ways. So just come along as you see me do them. I'm going to start with the basic arch and flatten in my spine and trunk. So when I arch, and I'm doing an arch that's more up rather than an arch with a lot of hyperextension. I'm lengthening my spine and head up. There's still some contractions, especially in my lower back, but it's not so much an overarching backward. And then as I come down, I'll be doing just a gentle kind of relaxation into a little bit of flexion of the spine. It's an arch and flatten more than an arch and curl. And when I arch, I'm coming a little forward of my sits bones, and then I come to neutral. I go a little past neutral, so I'm behind my sits bones to the flatten. And so I am going to start actually on a flatten. So I'm going to inhale to exhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to come into a flatten, and I'm just going to bend my elbows, flex my elbows and shoulders a little bit, and then come through neutral and inhale, and I'm arching. I'm doing a gentle arch. It's raising up my head. I'm even going to extend my shoulders and my elbows, and then slowly let everything relax. And on an exhale, I'm going to come into a gentle flatten and a flexion of my elbow. You can see a number of things are moving, but I'm embedding the elbow movement, and then inhaling, a gentle arching as I extend my elbow and my shoulder. I'll do one more. As I begin to exhale, I release, I come through neutral, and I do a gentle flexion of the spine with flexion of the elbow and shoulder. As I start to inhale, I release and come through to a gentle arch where I'm extending my elbows and my shoulders, and then I'm just going to come back to neutral. Now I'm going to do push and pull. It's very common. We do it all the time. Again, I'm going to let my spine and my body, the brain organizes us as a whole. So as we use our arms, we want to allow the flow to come through our body, through our spine. I'm just letting my head and neck flow to support the movement. So once again, I'm actually going to start more on a gentle flexion of the spine and on an exhale. So I'm going to inhale to exhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to push. My elbows are extending. I'm going to pull. My elbows are flexing. Even though my shoulders are extending, my spine is extending, and then as I push, I'm flexing my spine. I come into, my elbows are straight. I'm coming into extension of the elbows, but my shoulders are coming forward. My shoulders are in a flexion. So I'm just embedding the elbow movement in this very common push, pull, push, pull, and rest. And now I'm going to start with my arms abducted out. My palms are down. I'm going to use the same three hand positions actually. And I'm going to flex my elbows, my shoulders, my spine, and I'm going to come out into an extension. This is a horizontal extension of the shoulder and extension of the elbow. And I'm going to come back. I'm flexing my elbow and my spine. I'm extending. I'm going to do it one more time. Flexing and extending. And then I'm going to relax. And now, instead of having my palms like this, my palms are going to be facing forward, and it's going to be the same hug position, coming into the hug and out, hugging into flexion, coming out into extension, and hugging, and coming out into extension, and again hugging, and coming out into extension. And I did trade. Sometimes I brought one arm on top and sometimes the other arm, just to give a little bit more balance to the movement. And now the third position, palms down. Again, I'm going to come into the same sense of flexion with my palms in this position, flexion to extension, flexion to extension, integrating more into a flow movement, embedding flexion and extension of the elbows with my arm in different positions. The last integration I'm going to do for the elbow is I'm going to start in this position. I often call this the goalpost position. This is goalpost fallen over position, palms down. And I'm going to flex one elbow and extend the other. Now this is an interesting movement. I'm letting my spine and my head and neck just do what they want. And sometimes we do it with our arms straight out. I find if I bring my arms down a little, my clients and even myself, I'm a little more comfortable with it. But you can do this move with your arms higher or lower. And I'm letting my head and neck turn as they want to. And now I can switch and keep my head this way so that I have switched my head and neck so that my head and neck and my shoulders and shoulder blades and arms and elbows, I think I just might have changed my head back. But you can see you can change these variables. And really, these are fun moves to do and really integrate these movements into and embed them into movements we do all the time in various ways. So I hope you try these movements. You can also do them in standing, and some of them you can actually adapt to lying down, so you can do them on the floor or even in bed in the morning or in the evening to help you reduce your neck, shoulder, upper arm, and elbow tension. Thank you very much.